I'm Kerry.
And I'm Katie.
And this is Grave Silence.
So I was going to say you're doing something with nuts, but I can't think of the nut. You know,
It's been a long time since I've done something with nuts.
Mate, this is not boding well, if I'm honest with you. I'm talking shit already, and I don't know what time it is.
Fucking hell, we ain't even started yet.
And we ain't even started yet.
We ain't even started yet, darling.
We ain't even started yet.
It's 7 p.m.
It's 7 p.m.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has.
But we respect the fight.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven. Oh, 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I remember being on the Rob as a kid. Typical council estate. Here we go. Taking you back to the 90s, possibly even the late 80s. Late 80s. Council estate kid,
Nice.
Our kid, going into a 7-Eleven with 2 empty plastic bags. Filling up said plastic bags.
Right.
With sweets.
Nice.
Healthy. Pop.
Yep. Bing.
Panda.
Nice. Panda pop.
Yeah. Crisps.
Nice. Space Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And possibly some other generic crap crisps of the time.
Munch.
Monster Munch. And I mean, these bags were brimming.
Well,
I didn't do things by half.
No, of course not. There's 2 of them as well.
And there was 2. Me and my mate Stefan walked out of 7-Eleven and went up Dulwich Park and had ourselves a little picnic.
Nice.
Didn't pay for a penny of it.
See, in my head, you and your mate Stefan have both got a fag in your mouth. Doing one of them wide legged walks with you.
Like something out of Shameless or Brassic. That was, go on, get fucking Popo's coming. Run. We were literally those kids.
You were those kids. But you were all the well more rounded for it.
I like to think so.
We like to think so, don't we?
And in today's news, kids, back to reality. Edmund Kemper.
Edmund Kemper.
Yes. The third, which I never realised.
Do you know what? I was going to mention this, right? Because I'm already pissed off.
Oh dear.
It's already.
Shit's already hit the fan.
It has already hit. Right. Where I don't understand being the 3rd, the 4th, the 6th. You're not a king.
I was going to say, unless you're royalty,
you in history at all, because frankly, Ed, without the 3rd, you've defined yourself in history, my son. Quite enough already.
Well, you didn't have to be a 3rd.
You didn't have to be a 3rd.
I mean, you didn't have to do what you did to define yourself anyway.
But,
let's face it.
That is true. But I don't get the 3rd. I don't get saying how many of you there are. I don't.
It's like saying Kerry Leanne McKinney the 3rd. The 3rd of what?
I don't know how many Ashmans there were before me. Certainly no Katies that I'm aware of.
I don't think there was very many Kerry Leanne McKinneys the 3rd.
And if there were, I don't want to know I'm the 3rd of them. I'm unique, mate. I'm unique. As I used to be on my Dreamcast chat, I was an enigma.
Dreamcast,
right? On chat rooms on Dreamcast, my first experience on a chat room.
On Dreamcast.
Right? I was enigma, but because I was such an enigma, there were 14 of them, so I was enigma 15.
Enigma.
This was oh my God, I can't even say I was 19. How old would I have been then? 23.
Enigma on Dreamcast.
22. Enigma 15 on Jeep, because there are 14 other enigmas.
So not many enigmas then.
That rare.
That rare, there's 15 of you.
Yeah.
And there we go, really.
And here we are. But yeah, Edmund Emil Kemper III. He was born on December the 18th, 1948, at a chonky £13.
That is a chonky boy, is it not?
That is birthing a watermelon, is it not? I can't.
Not unlike baby who carried one.
I carried a birthed a watermelon.
Oh Jesus! She's a sweat baby.
Chonky boy in Burbank, California. He was the middle child of Edmund Emil Kemper Jr.
Or the
second,
second,
a senior, or a second, or whoever, how many ever there are. And Clarnell Elizabeth Strandberg. See, Clarnell to me sounds like a surname, but no, that is Ed's mum's.
It does sound a bit surnamey, isn't it?
It does. So Ed was the middle child of the couple's 3 children, but he was the only boy. And it's said And proven, I think, as our story's about to tell us.
Unfold,
His mother favoured his two sisters over him immensely. And by the age of 4, he was at least a head taller than all of the other children.
That's a big lad.
Anyway, so his dad was a World War II veteran, and he later worked testing nuclear weapons. But it was a job that he said was less stressful than living with his wife. So, thanks, Carnell.
Well, to be fair, I'm sure many of men have said that.
It's just rude, though. It's just rude. But maybe hugely justified.
Until the story unfolds,
So their marriage, unfortunately, it was defined by volatility, arguments, and Clarnell's persistent verbal abuse towards both her husband and her son. I mean, if she's calling them both Edmund, she could be talking to either one of them, because there are 2 of them in the house. This is, again, where it's not a wise idea to be the third, the fourth,
unless she says number 2 and number 1.
Yeah, no. Moving on from number 2s. I've lost it already. It's been a very long day.
It has. We've had technical problems and everything.
We have.
But that's fine. We move on.
So Clarnell drank heavily, shouted often, and used humiliation as her primary method of control. Right.
She sounds like a keeper.
She does, doesn't she? She sounds like a trophy. She told Ed that he was worthless, unwanted, and destined to become a failure.
Lovely.
When his father left the family when Ed was 9, moving to Montana, and he later remarried, Ed interpreted this departure as abandonment and blamed his mum for driving his dad away.
Well, you can kind of see why, can't you?
You can kind of see why, but I also, if she's that bad and she's picking on you as well as your son, okay, it's 1948, so it would have been mid to late 50s by the time Ed is 9. So I know that's maybe not the done thing, I don't know. But I would kind of hoped that if he loved his son, he'd have taken his son with him. And I don't know how much he kind of stayed in touch with Ed after leaving. You know, that's not really explored too much.
Yeah, I suppose, they do. I think they touch base a little bit later on, but I suppose in that era, it wasn't massively the done thing for men to take the children, was it?
That's true.
And I suppose now it's a different story, but 9 times out of 10, the kids stayed with the mother, didn't they? And it's that usual story of, mum takes on children, off dad fucks.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm looking back at it with 2020 eyes, let's say. 2026 eyes, but yeah. I mean, however, there's clearly other stuff going on here, because from early childhood, Ed displayed behavioural patterns that would later be recognised as severe warning signs. So brace yourselves for this, okay? Because it does get hard to listen to. At the age of 10, he began killing the family's cats.
Right, I'm not happy about this. Just, I can take most things. Kill a cat, get to fuck.
He first buried one alive and then later dug it up and put its head on a spike.
Fuck me.
And then examined the remains. That's a lot. That is more so, shall we say, troubling behaviour patterns there. More than that.
Well, they do say it starts off with pulling the wings off of butterflies.
Mm-hmm. So at 13, he killed another cat with a knife, and he kept the parts of it hidden in his room because he thought that the cat favoured his younger sister over him. So again, there's attachment, trust, jealousy, rage seems to be coming in quite early. He decapitated his sister's dolls. I mean, we've all done that.
I know somebody that used to take the arms off and put them on the wrong way round.
Jesus Christ.
So that I won't tell you that person. It wasn't me, I promise you.
Sure?
No, I swear to you.
Way of disclosing?
No, I swear to you, it wasn't me.
Okay,
no, somebody that was particularly close to me.
Oh, okay, I think I might know who that is.
Yeah, we move on.
So we're moving on. So I've now completely lost where. Oh yeah, removal of dolls' hands. But he then played disturbing games such as gas chamber and electric chair,
fun times
where he pretended to be executed.
Nice.
He would also take his father's bayonet out to play. Of course he did. And he would just stare, holding it, staring through his teacher's window.
God fucking hell.
I mean,
can you imagine being that woman and looking out one night, just taking a little
and
stare
there's
out your window?
13-year-old Ed Kemper.
massive,
already your
massive,
height.
huge, who's literally probably at that point just under 6 foot, 13, Ed Kemper, having a little look in your window with a bayonet.
Yeah, and, you know, who knows whether these thoughts were sexual at that time or not. He did later share that he was molested by his cousins and his older sister Susan. But again, whether that's true or not, a lot is taken from Kemper's own account of things. So yeah, it's hard to tell. But by his own account, he came close to death several times as a kid. So once his elder sister tried to push him in front of a train. But if you have decapitated her dolls and killed her cat, then I'm not sure. I'm not saying it's okay.
No, but I would probably stick a foot out if I'm honest with you.
Where that rage come from. She pushed him in the deep end of a swimming pool, and he almost drowned. Again, I can't say I blame her.
Like I said, if I found my cat with a dug up head spike, no.
And as we've said, he was frankly freakishly tall for his age.
Freakishly
Tall. I mean, it says unusually, but I'm going for freakishly here because he was 6 foot by early adolescence.
Yeah.
So he's kind of 12, 13, 14. He's 6 foot tall. And so he said he felt very physically out of place and quite socially isolated. He wouldn't stop growing until he reached 6'9".
That's a big guy.
It's a really imposing figure, but yeah, it said that it strangely seemed that he was protective of those who met him casually because he was seen as like this gentle giant on the outside.
And I do get that. I mean, we're probably looking at it because we know exactly what he's done. And spoilers, if you don't know what he's done, then
it doesn't stop at cats, let's face it.
Well, yeah, quite. But, you know, what are you listening to a true crime podcast for if you don't know what he's done? The point is, we're probably looking at it from the point of view as he's 6'9", you know, he's a big guy and it is freakishly tall and what have you. However, I have obviously known of very large guys that are like that and are incredibly gentle giants, you know, 100%. And so, but obviously we're looking at it from the hindsight that we know what he's done.
I mean, at the time, people assumed that he must be gentle, almost careful because of his size and aware of his strength. And that assumption would later help him move unnoticed through environments where young women and girls routinely disappeared.
So Clarnell, convinced that Ed was dangerous, forced him to sleep in the locked basement of their Helena, Montana home. A dark, cold space filled with spiders and exposed pipes. She told him she feared he would harm his sisters if he slept upstairs. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, Clarnell sounds like an absolute cracker, but she's probably got a point.
Well, that's the trouble, but how is that going to help? It's just going to cause more resentment. It's just going to... Is she aware of this stuff that's been going on? Presumably she is, but if he was molested by his older sister and he's being put in the basement to protect his sisters from him, after hearing years of that,
True.
You're worthless, you're a failure, you're not gonna turn into anything. What does that then do to one's psyche?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's play devil's ad from both sides. Let's say Clarnell knows.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what he's done. She knows he's done X, Y, Z to the cats. And all right, so look, who hasn't pulled the head off a Barbie occasionally and cut the hair and whatever? That's probably not the worst you can do. But let's say she knows about the cats. Yes, let's face it, I'm going to be seriously concerned about my child if they're doing something like that. I'm probably going to be a lot more concerned than I would be about your normal average child that's kicking and screaming. I'm going to be concerned about my other kids, let's face it. Mm-hmm. So yes, I probably am going to be worried. Probably not going to lock them in a basement though, granted, because but I'm going to be seeking some sort of support somewhere. Mm-hmm. Let's say she doesn't know about it, but she's locking him in a basement and saying that he's going to hurt his sisters, then no. That's either way, you're not going to be providing any support and help in that situation, are you? Do you know what I mean? You're
not handling this well.
No, let's face it, it's giving Norman Bates, isn't it? You fucked it. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? You're creating Ed Geins, if nothing else, aren't you? Yeah. Let's face it. So Ed later described lying awake in the basement listening to footsteps above him. feeling like a prisoner in his own home, which is understandable, and his resentment toward his mother intensified. He began fantasizing about killing her long before he acted on any violent impulses towards her. So that's probably a stretch too far, Ed. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get you'd be angry with your mum, but fantasizing about killing her? A bit too much, maybe. These fantasies were deeply rooted in an Oedipal complex shaped by years of emotional abuse. So the term Oedipal pertains to the Oedipus complex, which is like a psychoanalytical theory posed by Sigmund Freud, and it describes an unconscious childhood stage where an individual develops a desire for the opposite sex parent and like feels jealousy or rivalry towards the same sex parent. So basically what they're saying is that there was these thoughts that there might have been a possible theory around him feeling sexual thoughts towards his mother. Whether or not that be the case, I don't know, but it sounds to me more as though he hated her rather than had sexual thoughts about her, but I'm not sure, I don't know. So his mother continued belittling him, mocking his appearance, criticised his social awkwardness, and repeatedly told him that no woman would ever want him.
Jesus.
Serial
killer in the making.
No, not
that.
much.
Thank
not
you.
Hard. Yeah, quite. She compared him to other men, to other boys, to the type of young men she desired and admired, which is weird. Why you would do that to your son, I don't know. And she told him he would never measure up. He claimed that she refused to show him love or affection for fear of it turning him gay.
I mean, Jesus.
Because obviously you're turned gay, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, you're not born gay.
No.
You know, you're turned gay.
You're turned
aren't you?
gay.
Brilliant.
And me being a female hugging you as a male is going to make you more effeminate.
Oh, of course.
And thus turn you gay, because that's how it works.
Absolutely, that's how it works.
And again,
100%.
I know that this was back in the late 50s into early 60s at this time. So I know the world and people's perceptions were very different then.
Yep.
However, Ed Kemper's mum sounds like, bit of a treat, isn't she? Bit of a treat.
Like I said before,
overall.
she's a cracker. She's an absolute cracker. So these experiences formed the foundation of intense misogyny that wasn't general hatred of women, but a targeted pathological resentment tied directly to his mother. And you can kind of see why, can't you, obviously?
I've seen it.
She became the axis around which his fantasies and his rage and his violence revolved. At 14, Ed ran away from home in an attempt to reach his father in Van Nuys, California. When he arrived, he discovered his father had remarried and had a stepson. That must have been a massive kick in the teeth.
I'm feeling sorry for Ed Kemper, people.
That's slightly concerning.
I mean, you know, as at 14 years old and...
You're feeling sorry for 14-year-old Ed Kemper.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. No, I kind of get that. Yeah, and that, again, like I said, that must be a kick in the teeth. Being sort of 14 and, all right, you've done some stuff you shouldn't have done. I get that. But you had these feelings of being isolated by your mum, your sisters, possibly have been molested by your sister, older sister, alienated, locked in a basement as a kid, and then... boom, you got to find your dad, find out you've got a step brother, not a half brother, and he's living the life of Riley with a new wife, and you're, what, shit on his shoe now, maybe? Not wanted, not bothered with, not interested. Nice. So Ed stayed briefly, but sensed he wasn't wanted.
Shocker.
There we go. His father sent him to live with his paternal grandparents, Maud and Edmund Kemper Sr.
So, Edmund Kemper the first.
So there's number one.
Right. It all starts with you, Ed.
There we go. On their ranch in North Fork, California. Not Norfolk.
No.
North Fork, California. The arrangement was intended to stabilise him, but it had the opposite effect. Ed disliked the isolation of the ranch and clashed with his grandmother, who he felt was controlling and critical like his mother. His grandfather, a World War I veteran, was often away from the house and had little involvement in Ed's daily life. On August the 27th, 1964, at age 15, Ed committed his first murders.
Jeez.
15 years old. After an argument with his grandmother in the kitchen, he retrieved a .22 caliber rifle his grandfather had given him for hunting. He shot Maud Kemper once in the head and twice in the back. He then stabbed her several times.
But that's rage. Stabbing after shooting.
At 15.
That's rage.
Yeah. He later told police that he wanted to see what it felt like.
Oh.
And that he killed her because she reminded him of his mother. When his grandfather returned from grocery shopping, Ed shot him in the driveway, later explaining that he didn't want his grandfather to see his wife dead and be upset. Unsure what to do next, Ed called his mother, who told him to contact the police. He waited calmly on the porch until deputies arrived.
Jesus, so it's kind of like he's gone, I've done this.
Yep. And now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
But then he's 15.
Yeah.
Can you think about how many 15-year-olds would know exactly what to do in a situation like that?
Mm-hmm. No, that's true, but it's very down the line, isn't it? It's very
it's
compartmentalised.
Analytical, almost.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of his age, Ed was sent to Atascadero State Hospital, a maximum security facility for mentally ill offenders. There, he underwent extensive psychological testing, including the Minnesota Multifaceted Personality Inventory, the thematic apperception test. He scored exceptionally high on IQ tests, with results ranging from 136 to 145. Psychiatrists diagnosed him with paranoid schizophrenia, though later evaluations would question the accuracy of that diagnosis. So that is a massively high IQ.
Oh, huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And in fact, I think that's higher than Einstein.
That's genius.
Yeah, that's incredibly high.
Yeah.
Because I think I've said this to you before, haven't I? Ted Bundy's is like 125 and his was high, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Einstein, I'm sure, was 130 maybe, something like that, 128, 130.
I think there's something when you have a killer, that's scary. When you have a killer with a high IQ,
that's crazy.
Who is more clever than, I don't know what the statistics are, but more clever than 1,000 other people in a room.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's really scary. Yeah. Because obviously we know we've looked at a lot of cases, and I mean, even just, cases that I haven't obviously looked into extensively and we haven't kind of researched yet, and obviously will do later on down the line, but we obviously know about other cases where serial killers have hit their head. Obviously we know of Fred West and Richard Ramirez, and there's other and they've obviously, their IQs aren't well, I mean, we know about Fred West and being as thick as mince, but putting it bluntly, I know, let's not sit on the fence because you get splinters. Do you know what I mean? But that in itself is scary enough, isn't it? When you've got that situation, but 136 to 145.
Yeah. I don't want to be outsmarted by a crazy person.
No, thank you.
So Ed was placed under the care of Dr. Donald Lund and other staff psychologists who noted his articulate speech, cooperative behaviour, and the ability to mimic emotional responses he did not genuinely feel.
And that is the scary.
Oh, yes.
That's your scary right there.
His intelligence allowed him to study the behaviour of violent offenders, memorise diagnostic criteria, and learn what answers would satisfy evaluators.
No.
So check this out, right?
No.
Right. He was allowed to work in the psychology testing unit, administering tests to other inmates and gaining access to detailed case files of sex offenders.
No, fuck that, Cecil, I'm out.
What?
That shit is crazy.
I can't. So you've got this lad, right? He's 15. He's killed his grandparents. Very, overkilled his grandparents.
15!
He's got such a high IQ. And you're like, oh, I know what, we'll give him a job. He's really good. He's really good at mimicking these things he doesn't feel.
Can I just ask him, where are you going to put him?
Oh, I'm going to put him in the psychology testing unit. So we're going to let him test other inmates.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's a good idea.
We're going to let him read the case files of sex offenders.
Oh, do you know what? I'm on board. Let me just stamp that file.
Jesus Christ.
That's a pucker idea, that is.
Tell me somebody lost their job. Oh, get this right. Staff members later admitted that giving a teenage killer access to such material was a serious oversight. Do you think?
No.
Do you think heads should have rolled?
No. Quite frankly, my timbers, they are shivered. That is insanity.
and it's laughable, and it's such a fucking serious, but it's so shocking. It's unbelievable.
60s, mate.
It's nonsensical.
60s.
Whoa. Anyway, during his years at Atascadero, Ed became a model patient.
Of course he did.
He expressed remorse for killing his grandparents and demonstrated consistent good behaviour. So,
because he can mimic
expressed remorse or mimicked remorse because he knows that's what they wanted to hear.
And breathe.
In 1969, at the age of 21, he was recommended for release.
Jesus wept.
His doctors argued that he had matured and that his crimes were the result of temporary adolescent rage and that he no longer posed a threat.
Oh, okay then.
Brilliant. So the California Youth Authority agreed, and on December 18th, 1969, his 21st birthday, Ed Kemper was released into the custody of his mum, despite multiple despite multiple staff members advising against returning him to the environment that he had contributed, mainly caused his psychological instability.
I mean,
what the actual fuck?
I personally, I think it was an amazing plan, and I can't see where it went wrong at any point.
Jesus Christ. So Clarnell, his mum, by this time had remarried and divorced again because she's clearly a keeper, and had taken the surname Strandberg. She was now living in Aptos near Santa Cruz, and she was working as an administrative assistant at the University of California. Unsurprisingly, she continued to drink heavily and berate her son, telling him that he was a burden and that no woman would ever want him. Their arguments were frequent and intense, and Ed, now 6'9" and weighing over 250 pounds, still felt humiliated and trapped. His towering height made him physically dominant, but emotionally he remained under control of his mum. His resentment deepened, and his fantasies of killing her intensified. He later admitted that every murder he committed was a rehearsal for the one he truly wanted to commit. I mean, stick that in her Mother's Day card. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So, during this period, Santa Cruz was developing a reputation as a centre of counterculture, with thousands of students, hitchhikers, and young travellers passing through the area. I can see where this is going.
Do you reckon?
The environment created opportunities for predators, and Ed began to fantasise about abducting and killing young women. He purchased a car similar to unmarked police vehicles and equipped it with handcuffs, plastic bags, knives, and a .22 caliber pistol.
Oh, like
that's
a little,
all you need.
Yeah, quite. Like a little car safe kit.
Jesus Christ. He practiced picking up hitchhikers, initially letting them go to build confidence and refine his approach.
Jesus.
He later said he picked up over 100 women before he killed any of them.
He's really...
practice, isn't he?
Yeah.
And the intent and the commitment and the...
That's what I was going to say. That's what it is, isn't it? It's really...
It's very controlled.
Yeah.
Very controlled. Ooh. While staying with his mother, Kemper attended community college in accordance with his parole requirements and had hoped to become a police officer. Though, Jesus Christ, though he was rejected because of his size. Oh my God, could you have imagined it?
I mean, if that's the only thing they're going to reject him over, then...
When he saved enough money, Kemper moved out to live with a friend in Alameda. There, he still complained of being unable to get away from his mum because she regularly phoned him and paid him surprise visits. He often had financial difficulties, which resulted in him frequently returning to his mother's home in Aptos.
Well, by early 1972, the pressure inside him had reached a breaking point. His resentment towards his mother, his sexual frustration, and his violent fantasies converged. He began driving the highways around Santa Cruz, Monterey, and Berkeley looking for victims. He targeted college students, particularly those from the University of California and Cabrillo College, believing that they would be trusting enough to accept rides. And let's face it, he was right.
Yeah.
On May the 7th, 1972, he picked up his first victims, 19-year-olds Mary Ann Pesci and Anita Lucasi, students from Fresno State University. They accepted a ride, unaware that he had disabled the passenger door handle so that it couldn't be opened from the inside. He then handcuffed Pesci and locked Lucasi in the trunk, then stabbed and strangled Pesci to death, subsequently killing Lucasi in a similar manner. So she would have heard that from the trunk.
Jesus Christ. I think
fear.
I'd have passed out from fear.
I know, the fear, those poor girls must have it must have been absolutely, you would have just been frozen, wouldn't you? God. Kemper later confessed that while handcuffing Pesci, he brushed the back of his hand against one of her breasts and it embarrassed him.
God.
Adding that he said, "Whoops, I'm sorry," or something like that after grazing her breast. Despite murdering her minutes later, he also noted that he chose the woman because they seemed upper middle class, of a better class of people than the scroungy, messy, dirty, smelly hippie types I wasn't all interested in, is what he'd said.
Jesus. I mean, and it's so weird. It's like that awkwardness, that social awkwardness of,
well, it's all
oh my
installed
gosh,
from
I'm
his
sorry.
mum, isn't it?
Yeah. I've touched you here, but also, by the way, I'm
now going to take your life. Lovely. It's wild. Kemper put both of the women's bodies in the trunk of his car and returned to his apartment. He was stopped on the way by a police officer for having a broken tail light, but the officer didn't detect the corpses in the car, which, let's face it, he's not going to, is he? No. Do you know, you don't automatically think, oh yeah, I'm going to check the boot of your car because you've got a broken tail light.
Yeah.
Kemper's roommate wasn't at home, so he took the bodies into his apartment, where he photographed and had sexual intercourse with the naked corpses before dismembering them. He then put the body parts into plastic bags. Which he later abandoned near Loma Prieta Mountain. Before disposing of Pesci's and Lucasi's severed heads in a ravine, Kemper engaged in oral sex with both of them. In August of that year, Pesci's skull was found on Loma Prieta Mountain. An extensive search failed to turn up the rest of Pesci's remains or a trace of Lucasi. Their disappearance was reported, but with no witnesses and no physical evidence. The case went cold.
I mean, Jesus. So he's admitting to doing all that.
Yeah.
He's cut their heads off, and before he gets rid of them, he sticks parts of him in the mouth.
It's very Dharma, isn't it?
I cannot.
It's all very linked to his mum, and that I'm not even going to call it trauma, to be honest with you, because that's absolutely no excuse of doing that to a young girl after you've killed her, and that's horrendous.
Is it because it's like to gag his mum to stop her from talking to? I mean,
possibly.
God knows what psychoanalysis is.
I wouldn't even. I mean, we're not in any way, shape, or form.
There, Katie.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to think what it is. It might possibly be something of that going through his mind. Who fucking knows? But either way, that is a fucking horrendous thing to do, and it is. It's very Dharma-esque, isn't it?
It really is.
A lot of this case is very Dharma-esque in that respect, and it's just absolutely horrendous for those girls and their families.
In September 1972, he picked up 15-year-old Aiko Ko, a ballet student from Berkeley High School. Aiko was known for her discipline, her dedication to dance, and her quiet, thoughtful personality. Her disappearance was initially treated as a runaway case. Ed later said that Aiko's youth and vulnerability affected him differently. But he carried out the murder with the same methodical approach. Aiko had been waiting for a bus to a dance class when Ed offered her a ride. He again drove to a remote area where he pulled a gun on Aiko before accidentally locking himself out of his car. However, Aiko let him back inside despite the fact that the gun was still in the car.
Oh, lover.
And back inside the car, he proceeded to choke her unconscious, rape her, and kill her. Kemper subsequently packed Aiko's body into the trunk of his car and went to a nearby bar to have a few drinks, then returned to his apartment. He later confessed that after exiting the bar, he opened the trunk of his car, quote, admiring my catch like a fisherman, end quote, and back at his apartment he had sexual intercourse with the corpse, then dismembered and disposed of the remains in a similar manner as his previous two victims. Aiko's mother called the police to report the disappearance of her daughter and put up hundreds of flyers asking for information, but she did not receive any responses regarding her daughter's location or status. Throughout late 1972, Ed's relationship with his mother deteriorated yet further. She criticised his appearance, his job, his social life, and his inability to maintain relationships with women. She told him he was too awkward, too large, and too strange for any woman to want him. His misogyny, already deeply rooted in his Oedipal fixation, intensified. The young women he picked up were not chosen at random. They represented the type of women his mother admired and compared him to. He killed them to process the rage he felt towards her, using their bodies as stand-ins for the mother that he could not yet confront.
On January the 7th, 1973, Kemper, who had moved back in with his mother, was driving around the Cabrillo College campus when he picked up 18-year-old student Cynthia Ann Cindy Shaw. He drove to a wooded area and fatally shot her with a .22 caliber pistol. He then placed her body in the trunk of his car and drove to his mother's house, where he kept her body hidden in a closet in his room overnight. When his mother left for work the next morning, he had sexual intercourse with Shaw's corpse and removed the bullet from it, then dismembered and decapitated her in his mother's bathtub. Kemper kept Shaw's severed head for several days, regularly engaging in irrumatio, then buried it in his mother's garden facing upward toward her bedroom.
I'm so sorry, what does irrumatio mean? Is that the
So
oral
it's
sex part
basically, it's basically putting your penis in someone's mouth.
Right, okay.
So it's basically oral sex,
Yeah.
but obviously because she can't engage in the act because her head,
well, she's no longer alive.
She's no longer alive and she can't move her mouth. It's basically him forcing his penis into her mouth.
I wonder what, sorry, I know this is off on a side tangent, but it feels so wrong to say he had sex with their corpse.
It's rape. Yeah, it's rape of a corpse, isn't it? It's
for me, that doesn't, he has sex with her corpse doesn't give the weight of the disgusting act that is.
100%.
So for me, there needs to be a different term, whether it be rape, whether it be something else.
It's it's rape of a corpse all day long,
it's
isn't
not
it?
strong enough. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fucking horrendous, whatever it is. It's After his arrest, he stated that he did this because his mother always wanted people to look up to her.
Wow.
Yeah. He discarded the rest of Shaw's remains by throwing them off a cliff. Over the course of the following few weeks, all except Shaw's head and right hand were discovered. A pathologist determined that Shaw had been cut into pieces with a power saw. Fucking hell, can it just get any more disrespectful? I mean, obviously there's nothing respectful in true crime at any point, is there? Let's face it, we're not talking about a bed of roses when we're crossing over true crime here, but just the disrespect of these women. I know it's particularly misogynistic, Ed Kemper's story in general, because we know that he hates his mum, but Jesus Christ, discarding of her body by just throwing it over a cliff.
Yeah, and saying that he pointed her face towards his mum's window so that people would always look up to her. I can't. Yeah, there are no words at this point. Yeah. I'm speechless yet again.
Yeah. By early 1973, Santa Cruz had become a focal point for disappearances. Students from the University of California, Cabrillo College, and nearby institutions were vanishing at an alarming rate. Local law enforcement agencies, however, were fragmented and often failed to share information. Hitchhiking remained common among students, and warnings issued by campus authorities were often ignored.
I suppose as kids, you just feel like you're untouchable, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
it's always to somebody else, never to me. It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, I mean,
that happens to other people.
Exactly. How many times did we? I mean, we probably had those feelings when we were
Yeah.
kids. The amount of times my mum used to say to me, make sure you're in by a certain time, blah, blah, blah. When the street light, I mean, obviously we didn't really have mobile phones when we were kids and going out and piddling around and stuff. But the amount of times my mum used to say the same thing. And we were like, oh, we'll be all right. And we didn't have the access that we did to the news and the facts that kids do nowadays. So it wasn't as well known. And it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. We just didn't know about it as much. But we ignored those warnings because we just didn't think it would happen to us.
And I look back on some of my decision making as a young person, and frankly, I'm bloody lucky that nothing ever happened to me. Where I was down Dover Beach from 14 years old.
Oh,
most
good Lord
evenings.
above. I mean, if your hair wasn't curly before, Katie, it would be afterwards if I told you some of my stories. Let me tell you. But yeah, you would ignore it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think it's ever going to happen to you. But here we are talking like little old ladies in our 90s with shawls.
We just need blankets.
We do. So on February the 5th, 1973, he separately encountered 23-year-old Rosalind Heather Thorpe and 20-year-old Alison Liu on the UCSC campus. According to Kemper, he first encountered Thorpe as she exited a building, having attended a lecture. Thorpe entered the front passenger seat and, believing Kemper to be a fellow student, began chatting to him as he drove. Shortly thereafter, he observed Liu thumbing a ride. Kemper stopped his vehicle and Liu entered the back seat of his car. Ed then slowed his vehicle and shot Thorpe in the head with a .22 pistol. He then turned towards Liu as she cowered in the back seat of his car. His first 2 shots missed, but his third bullet hit her in the temple. Their bodies were then wrapped in blankets. Kemper again brought his victims' bodies back to his mother's house. This time, he beheaded them in his car and carried the headless corpses into his mother's house to have sexual intercourse with them. I'm not even going to call it sexual intercourse. To rape their bodies. He then dismembered them, removed the bullets to prevent identification, and discarded their remains the next morning. Some remains were found at Eden Canyon a week later, and more were found near Route 1 in March. Witnesses later recalled seeing them enter his vehicle, but no one recorded the license plate or identified the driver.
Just heartbreaking. So, Ezra said that by March 1973, the pressure inside him had reached a critical point. It's now there at critical. I thought it was at critical several years earlier.
I mean, I thought it was critical at the Cats, to be quite honest with you, but...
He believed the police were closing in, though in reality they had no suspect. He interpreted minor coincidences as signs that his time was running out. On April the 20th, 1973, the situation reached its breaking point, and after a night drinking and arguing with his mum again, Ed waited for her to fall asleep. He snuck back into her room to bludgeon her with a claw hammer and slit her throat with a penknife.
Jesus.
Kemper then beheaded her and, quote, humiliated her corpse, as stated in a 1984 interview. Kemper said that he put her head on a shelf and screamed at it for an hour, threw darts at it, and ultimately smashed her face in.
Quote. Now that is some anger.
He also cut out her tongue and larynx and put them in the garbage disposal. However, the garbage disposal could not break down the tough vocal cords and ejected the tissue back into the sink. He said, quote, that seemed appropriate, as much as she'd bitched and screamed and yelled at me over so many years.
Wow.
Kemper hid his mother's corpse in a closet and went to drink at a nearby bar. Upon his return, he invited his mother's best friend, 59-year-old Sarah Taylor, Sally Hallett, over to the house to have dinner and watch a movie. When Hallett arrived, Kemper strangled her. He subsequently put Hallett's corpse in the closet, obscured any outward signs of a disturbance, and left a note to the police. It read, approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday. No need for her to suffer any more at the hands of this horrible, murderous butcher. It was quick, asleep, the way I wanted it. Not sloppy and incomplete, just a lack of time. I got lots of things to do.
Jesus.
I was just about to say, is he mental? But clearly, well, yeah.
I mean,
yes, he is.
Paranoid schizophrenia.
Stating the bleeding obvious there, Katie.
With an IQ of nearly 145. I mean, it's not really someone you want to meet down a dark alley.
I mean,
fucking hell.
But it boggles my brain to even think how it went for that long, and then to write a note to police saying, it's just a lack of time, gents. I've got things to do.
It's really, it's just so calculated. Everything's really calculated and thought out. Like picking the women up beforehand, the whole finding 100 women before he's even as practice.
But that's the most pretense thing for me. Writing that note for those police, he's coming across always as a devil may care, Jack the lad, ta-ta now, a bit like the Ripper kind of notes.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that is again kind of
Don't get me started on that case.
Okay.
All right.
The future case. Anyway.
Yeah. It's
okay. We don't understand the mind of a serial killer. It's okay, but
yeah, I'm quite happy with that, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. Afterward, Kemper fled the scene. He drove non-stop to Pueblo, Colorado, taking caffeine pills to stay awake for the over 1,000 mile, so about 1,600 kilometre journey.
He must have been absolutely jizzed out of his mind.
Yeah.
Caffeine pills. Yeah. Fucking hell. I remember that Pro Plus.
Yes. They used to they still do sell them in Boots.
I know they do. I used to take those like through college and be absolutely mashed out of my tiny little mind.
That's how I did my GCSEs, coursework.
And now obviously realising that I have ADHD, that must have been absolutely insane. Fucking hell.
Oh, to have been a fly on that wall, Heather, when you were smacked off your tits on caffeine.
Smacked out of my tiny little mind, having ADHD and probably a whole packet of Pro Plus. What was I thinking?
I mean, yeah. He had 3 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition in his car, and he believed that he was the target of an active manhunt. But at this point he wasn't. After not hearing any news on the radio about the murders of his mother and Hallett, when he arrived in Pueblo, he found a phone and called the police.
I mean, look, at least he phoned the police.
Do you know, it's what he did when he was 15, after he killed his grandparents.
Yeah, fair.
He called his mum, and his mum said, Ed, you need to call the police now.
But isn't it funny, it dawned on me, that the one person he hates in the entire world, he fucks up, kills somebody, does the most atrocious thing in the world, one person he phones, mum.
Yeah, his mum calls her.
Yeah, interesting. So he confessed to the murders of his mother and Hallett, but the police didn't take his call seriously and told him to call back at a later time.
I mean, good God. Again, when we're looking back at things, no, don't be silly, sunshine.
Don't be a silly sausage.
Call us back later, Ed.
Ed the third, do me a favour, call me back later. I wonder if he told them about the note. That would have been interesting. If he'd have said, oh, look, I left a note.
Go and check the note out.
Would they have taken it differently? I don't know. Well, we don't know, do we? So several hours later, Kemper called again, which was good of him, wasn't it? Asking to speak to an officer he personally knew. He confessed to that officer of killing his mother and Hallett, and then waited for the police to arrive and take him into custody. Upon his capture, Kemper also confessed to the murders of the 6 students. When asked in a later interview why he turned himself in, Kemper said, quote, "The original purpose was gone. It wasn't serving any physical or real or emotional purpose. It was just a pure waste of time. Emotionally, I couldn't handle it much longer. Toward the end there, I started feeling the folly of the whole damn thing, and at the point of near exhaustion, near collapse, I just said to hell with it and called it all off." End quote.
Right.
Well, what a lovely chap. What a lovely thing to say.
The folly of the whole damn thing.
The folly of the whole damn thing.
I mean, is he in a Jeeves and Wooster novel? The folly of the whole
gosh darn thing. You know, I'm exhausted.
Woe is me.
I'm at near collapse.
Near collapse.
Do you know what? I feel really bad about the whole thing.
To hell with it.
I've destroyed 6 families' lives. The 6 human beings are no longer here. I feel really bad now. I'm going to go and hand myself in. Maybe I can even get myself back on the road to helping people on the sex offenders register.
Jesus Christ.
Because that worked really well last time I was in prison. Fuck my life. So the trial began on October the 23rd, 1973. Ed pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. I mean,
Yep.
question mark, question mark, question mark. But the prosecution argued that his detailed planning and efforts to avoid detection demonstrated that he understood the moral implications of his actions.
The practicing, my God,
I
picked
mean,
up over 100 women.
I'm inclined to agree with them if I was you, but
Yeah.
but here we are. Throughout the trial, Ed remained composed, answering questions calmly and occasionally corrected details when attorneys misstated facts. I mean, I bet the attorneys love that.
Oh, we love a pedant. We love a
Don't
pedant
we?
serial killer, don't we?
Don't we? So 3 court-appointed psychiatrists found Kemper to be legally sane. One of the psychiatrists, Dr. Joel Fort, investigated his juvenile records and the diagnosis that he was once psychotic. Interesting. Fort also interviewed Kemper, including under truth serum, and relayed to the court that Kemper had engaged in cannibalism, alleging that he sliced flesh from the legs of his victims, then cooked and consumed these strips of flesh in a casserole. Nevertheless, Fort determined that Kemper was fully cognizant in each case and stated that Kemper enjoyed the prospect of the infamy associated with being labelled a murderer, which wouldn't surprise me, actually, from that whole speech about exhaustion and the folly of the whole damn thing. That's, well, it is enjoying the infamy, isn't it, if you ask me? But Kemper later recanted the confession of cannibalism. The victims' families attended, listening as prosecutors outlined the final movements of their daughters. Ed occasionally glanced at them but showed no visible emotional reaction.
I mean, fucking hell.
What an absolute piece of shit.
And those families having to attend that
and hearing it and just
everything that's happened to their loved one.
Absolutely atrocious. On November the 8th, 1973, the jury found him guilty of 8 counts of first-degree murder. He requested the death penalty, but due to the temporary suspension of capital punishment in California, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. He was transferred to the California Medical Facility in Vacaville, then later to Folsom State Prison, and eventually back to Vacaville permanently. In prison, Ed became known for his cooperative behaviour. Here we are again. He worked in the prison's audio program, recording books for blind students, and participated in interviews with criminologists, psychologists, and FBI agents. His insights contributed to the development of early criminal profiling, though some experts questioned the reliability of his accounts due to his manipulative tendencies.
Do you know what? They cover this. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but there's a series on Netflix called Mindhunter.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this, and I've never got round to watching it.
It is so, so good.
Yeah.
But the actor that they found to play Ed Kemper is such a real likeness to the man, and his portrayal is disconcertingly uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
He plays it so well.
Wow.
But obviously when the FBI were looking into learning how to profile criminals and serial killers, they went out and they interviewed so many under that in order to build the profiling program. So Ed Kemper, he was part of many interviews trying to learn.
Well, I've watched interviews of Ed Kemper himself there's interviews on YouTube.
Is there?
Yeah, and they're really interesting. And he does come across as amazingly well spoken, really obviously incredibly intelligent, because he is. And he actually comes across as, dare I say it, quite likable, which is really scary. Really scary.
No, and maybe now the object of his rage is done, maybe there's none of that fire left.
Well,
who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to test him.
No, I mean,
I'm not going to go and poke the bear.
No, quite. I'm not going to nick his last Ferrero Rocher out of the packet. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like you say, who knows? Maybe we would never know, will we? Because thank God he's life in prison. But yeah, he actually comes across very interesting character, and you could probably hold some incredible conversations with him. I would not want to be left alone with him in a room.
Hell no.
By any means. But yeah, an interesting watch. Very interesting watch.
I will check out that out if you check
definitely.
out Mindhunter, and we'll
definitely
reconvene in discussions. Over the decades, Ed Kemper has been denied parole multiple times. Thank fuck.
I would say.
He has expressed remorse, but parole boards have consistently concluded that he remains a danger to society.
Thank fuck for that.
He has spent most of his adult life in prison, where he remains today, elderly and in declining health.
My heart bleeds.
The impact of his crimes on Santa Cruz community was profound. The disappearances of young women created fear and uncertainty, and the revelation that a killer had been living among them and moving freely through the area left many residents shaken. The case highlighted the need for improved communication between law enforcement agencies and contributed to changes in how missing persons cases were handled. For the families of the victims, the loss was permanent. Mary Ann Pesce and Anita Lucasi were remembered as bright, ambitious students. Aiko Ko was mourned as a talented young dancer. Cindy Shaw's mother spoke publicly about her daughter's kindness. Friends of Rosalind Thorpe and Alice Liu described them as intelligent, hard-working women deeply involved in campus life. Their stories remain central to understanding the true impact of Ed Kemper's actions.
I just think, yeah, so many young girls, those 6 girls were just ripped away, and purely just from one woman's, that pure hatred towards her son.
Yes.
And was it because because she just didn't want a boy?
Yeah. Or reminded him of his dad because he berated his dad and
all
him.
That hate.
You know, and obviously there had to be something else there. It wasn't just that.
Yeah.
People get abused, but horribly abused in childhood and don't turn out to do the things that Ed Kemper
God,
did.
no. Yeah.
But I wonder what, I mean, presumably his mum's passed on, we don't know.
Well, I mean, we do know though, don't we? Because he literally fucked her in the head, Katie.
He did fuck her in the head. I forgot that small facts that we just discussed. She's definitely dead, being fucked in the head.
Well, I would think so. After he ripped her head off and put it on the mantelpiece. Fucking hell!
Are you truly dead? That she's been fucked in the head.
Are you really dead, babe? Are you truly dead?
I wonder what his mum would think. She's fucking.
Oh, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. It's been a month of it, if I'm honest with you.
It's been a lot.
It's been a month of it.
It's all good. We'll let that one slide. I'll edit that out, shall I?
Please. What a fucking idiot. Oh, I don't know what his mum thinks about it. Oh, she's probably, I don't know if she's still alive.
Now. Do you reckon?
What?
Do you reckon? Well,
chatting with her mate about it, she is. I wonder what they thought.
What
the other mate that's dead.
Fucking hell.
And I'm sorry. Right, I don't feel as guilty laughing about his mum because she was a bitch.
Well,
nobody deserves that. I'm saying nobody deserves that before you all come at me. No one deserves to be killed and be fucked in the head, but they didn't have the best of relationships.
And on that note, we shall say adieu for another week.
We shall say ta-ta.
And do follow us on the socials.
Please do.
If you feel you can handle the pressure of it.
Please do.
Follow us on the socials,
and,
on the Far Shade book, on the Tiki-Toki.
Praise the Lord for editing.
And praise the Lord for editing.
And yeah, please follow us. And
it's going to be a long one.
Share. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Take care of you.